Da-da-dum.
Yes. Well, good afternoon and welcome to this international meeting of International Design Connections. My name is Igor van Hoof and I'm replacing my colleague Martijn Paulen, who as a result of Corona is now at home in quarantine. And well, I'm here to replace him. A very warm welcome to all participants in this extreme year in which we hoped till about 2 weeks ago that we could have a kind of normal Dutch Design Week with live events, of course all Corona proof. But 2 weeks ago we noticed that that was not the case this year. The Corona situation in Holland just worsened and we had to abandon this year's event. Well, and we changed that, and over the last 2 to 3 weeks we changed that to a virtual event, which is now taking place from last Saturday till next Sunday. All kinds of programs which you can find at www.dww.nl. So I hope that all these participants will take some time to look at that festival as well.
I think it was beautiful. Claire is also applauding, I see. Other applause. I think we will give an applause at least. Yes, really beautiful. So we will do the questions later, okay? So we go then now next to Daria. And I see Daria, you hear plastics. You are now, you're not working on plastics, but you are based in now the Rethinking Plastic.
Yes, yeah, I'm sitting right now in the studio, which is in the XC Expo in Strijpest in Eindhoven. And indeed, we have a nice exhibition now to see, also physically rethinking plastic. And today I would be, thank you for inviting me today. I would be happy also to tell you a bit more about my projects, recent projects, and I will share my screen. Yes, can you see it, right?
Yes, no, yeah, it's there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Daria. I'm a material designer and researcher and founder of Studio Mixtura. And in my work, I closely work with the recycling companies, industry and research universities. And the focus of my work is to find applications for mineral residues or for waste, because I find it has a very great value, actually, which is many times hidden, not only from industry itself, but also for recycling companies. So example of my work, it's for example, this forest glaze. It's a ceramic glaze that I developed with minerals, part of Renewy, company based in the Netherlands and also in UK. And we developed the recipe, which consists 60% of waste. And today, this recipe we can apply, for example, on the tableware. Like in this case, it's a second-hand pottery from the kringloop's which we reglaze over again with this, let's say, waste-based glaze, and that can get new vibrant colors, so that people can combine their own tableware over again, so that you don't have to throw it away, but you can actually reuse it with the new shades and new colors. Or also, if we talk about the larger scale of application for the waste, for mineral residues, it can be applied, for example, on the tiles or facade of the buildings. And there, of course, you can use much more of the mineral residues. And if I call mineral residues, maybe it's confusing, but I talk about recycling of the glass, of paper, and let's say general waste, which comes from the incinerations. And during, let's say, this COVID time, I was also a little bit, how can I say, locked in my studio, and I was thinking about and processing the situation. And actually, I started working about this project, Crystal Growth, which is presented this year also during Dutch Design Week. And there I was looking into actually disruptive quarrying industry. Because the numbers that I was getting from, let's say, people I was interviewing was shocking for me. Because, for example, limestone or slate stone has at least 600,000 tons of waste material a year to produce this beautiful tiles from slate stone, for example. And it's the same of other quarries. And here you can see examples of how we can implement these waste residues or these powders, let's say, what remains, for example, in ceramics. And here you see example of quarrying of the crystal in Austria, crystal quarry, but also quarry of slate stone in Wales, in UK, and also limestone in the Netherlands, in Koenradenstee. So you can really see how many different colors you can achieve and how many also effects you can get from this just powders, let's say, waste powders. And the last project I wanted to show you is also started last year and was initiated in Slot Lab. Let's say, we were looking with the other designers and architects into sustainable renovation. And as you know, many historical buildings are covered with slate stone in the Netherlands and also all around Europe. And the slate stone is very nice, but it's very difficult to find it. And basically all the quarries in Europe are closed. So the stone has to come from far away. And I took this research this year further, and I get into collaboration with TU Delft, where we not only managed to create a very aesthetically, in my opinion, appealing stone look material, but which also actually have the same properties of original slate stone. So how beautiful it would be if for a next upcoming restoration or projects we can use alternative material which are actually based on waste and not quarrying primary raw materials, let's say. Yeah, that's it. I think, yeah, the focus of my work indeed is to find the value and to repurpose waste streams and to find new solutions for that instead of using primary materials. Yeah, thank you.
I see already in the chat a question for you, Daria. Is it?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, I
Who
think
is
it's...
Who's asking? Wow, I want that now, Esme.
Esme,
No,
yeah, I think it's for Esme,
Esme.
yes. Yes, yeah.
Okay, Esme, you have already one fan, but I hope there are more. And I'm sure that Daria has already a lot of fans because you do this work already quite some time. Maybe you can briefly say how you come here in Eindhoven, because you're not from Holland.
Yes, I graduated from University of Applied Arts in Vienna, and during my studies, I did an exchange semester in Design Academy, and that's how, let's say, I got completely inspired by Dutch way of researching, and also by the way how Dutch designers look into the problems and problem solving and solution finding, let's say. And that's why I decided after my graduation to return in Eindhoven and start my studio here. So yeah, that's
become a Dutch designer anyway. Become a Dutch designer then still. And but what's your original roots? Because it's also not Austria.
No, exactly. Yeah, I graduated firstly from Moscow, and originally I'm Russian. So yeah, it was a long path, let's say. But now I see a combination in my work. I see a combination of all these roots, let's say, of all these three origins of my studies. and they implement each other.
And you go back to because you were in Siberia, I think, last year to
yes,
do
it was
there.
Collaboration with the Dutch embassy in Russia, and also I try to be involved also in this cross, let's say, cultural projects as well, because I find there are more similarities on that field, and we can make much more. We can learn much more from each other, and we can also, I think, it's important to share accumulated knowledge, let's say, and to make progress in. It can be made faster.
Yeah, I do really feel so. It's very important. So that's also why it's so good to have these connections all the time. And I also see really for the international diplomacy a task there, a job there. So beautiful stories from the three of you. I didn't do this on purpose to really split female and male, but it happens to be so. It's also really nice to see that, of course, you have been working all on sustainable issues, you could say, and also in creating new materials or really creating products with the kind of really innovative ways of using materials. To say it's really like alchemists, you might say, I think. This is my really brief summary now. So not really, I think merit really, first of all, an applause, like for Daria too, of course. So I want to do that as well. Daria, thank you.
Thank you for having me. Yes.